And welcome to Retire Right TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Paul Roberts. He's President and CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. Paul, how are you?
Doing wonderful. How are you today, Cynthia?
I am doing wonderful as well. I always look forward to our time together, to our shows together, because I know you've been having a lot of success, obviously, with the radio show, but incorporating TV has really taken you to the next level. And are people stopping you in the grocery store now?
It's starting to be a little bit awkward now. It is, and you know, everywhere we go, oh, I've seen you.
You look familiar. Oh yeah, you're the guy on TV. Do you have a couple seconds? Can I ask you a question? I'm sure you're getting a lot of that because, you know, before we started with the television show and you already had the radio going, but there's so many questions about how do you properly plan for retirement? Because is it still the number one fear that most people have as they're approaching retirement, is that they're going to run out of money during those years?
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned this because you mentioned the questions. I'm sorry to get off subject, but I had a gentleman in the supermarket a few weeks back. Came up, started talking to me, and he wanted to talk to me about his retirement planning and on and on. And look, I'm shopping. Yeah, I'm grabbing a few groceries real quick. I'd love to have this conversation. Yeah. We'd love to help you. Could we do it back in the office, like Monday to Friday? 9 to 5
I was going to ask you because that has to be difficult if you're trying to navigate through normal life routines like picking up dry cleaning or the grocery store.
And he wanted to quiz me about his pension. And I said, look, I would love to help you and we'll answer all these questions, but let's do it during the work hours. He understood. He kind of giggled. He started laughing. He said, I didn't realize what I was doing, you know, and he moved on. But yeah, income planning, you know, right back where we're income planning is the most vital piece of retirement planning, and it's crazy that is the most vital piece, yet is the most overlooked piece by most financial advisors out there. And I'm not sure, Cynthia, and I don't want to say anything negative, but I think it's a lot of them just don't want to take the time and put forth the effort. You know, income planning is not something that's generated in 5 minutes. It takes work and effort, you know.
Sure.
Our whole team of advisors takes all of us getting in there, and you know, we work for hours and hours and hours on every single client's case that comes in.
Absolutely.
There's a lot involved, but if you don't have a written income plan for retirement, you don't really have a retirement plan. Because people, you know, great, you have savings and you're taking withdrawals, but how do you know those withdrawals from your savings is sustainable? How do you know your money's going to last the rest of your life?
Sure.
How do you secure it against market volatility? How do you secure it against market downturns?
Sure.
You know, you can't call the power company and tell them, market's down.
Yeah.
I'll pay you guys in a few months, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't work. So the inevitables never go away. There's certain expenses that will always continue in our life, and we got to have that continuous stream of income on a monthly basis.
Sure.
But then the next thing, once we start income planning, it leads us to income gaps, and that's what we help clients figure out. We see that income gaps are not given enough attention. We identify quite a few income gaps out there that everyone will encounter sometime in their retirement life. The first one is just, what income do I need, right? I've got some Social Security, maybe some pension, but I need so much income. How are we gonna make up that shortfall?
Yeah.
All right, we have to dip into our savings to make that shortfall, but how do we make sure that that money will last the rest of our life and is sustainable? And we won't end up running out of money. Right? So once we've solved income gap number one, hey, we can provide so much income the rest of your life, then we got to start looking down the road to the future. Is it a married couple? All married couples will see another future income gap, and that is the loss of one benefit. Right?
Oh, of course.
The loss of a loved one, you're going to lose one Social Security benefit in the household, and that can be several $1,000s worth of household income that disappears. You would not believe how many people do not have a plan or a strategy in place for that one. And it's not that they don't love their loved one and want to take care of them, it's that the financial professional they're seeking advice from hasn't mentioned it, or they haven't dove into that realm. Then we come into income gap number 3. Income gap number 3 is future inflation.
Okay.
Right? We're in a credit crisis. We're going to see interest rates rise. We're going to see inflation rise, and inflation's going to start rising pretty significantly over the next year. However, we know that Social Security, the system is unsustainable, and it can't keep up the COLAs, the cost of living increases for everybody every year. So all Americans out there on Social Security today, you're not going to keep getting the raises that you need to keep up with inflation going forward. So slowly over time, that is going to dwindle your purchasing power and cause another income gap in the household. So do you have strategies and plan for that. You know, all of our clients, the reason they have what we call a sleep at night retirement plan is because they know their current income gap is taken care of.
Sure.
They know that their future income gaps that may occur due to loss of a loved one, all their survivor income gaps are solved, and they know that we've got plans in place to offset inflation. Once you put all that together, they know they can keep their same standard of living. They can live life the way they have lived it for the rest of their life. And do you know how much peace of mind that creates for people when they know?
Absolutely.
I'm good. I can live out the rest of my life and keep my same standard of living.
Yes. And you provide them the peace of mind, like you mentioned, Paul, to do the things that they want to do right now, because retirement really is when life begins again. It's no longer just sitting on the front porch drinking lemonade.
That's right.
People are being active. They're exploring. They're taking trips. They're spending time with loved ones. You let them know that it's okay to do that.
It is. And, you know, that's part of our conversation in our initial discovery meeting. When they come in to meet with me or one of our advisors, we're walking them through all these aspects of retirement, but we also start asking them, what do you want to do? What does life in retirement look like to you?
Yeah.
You know, what do vacations look like? What do hobbies look like? Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? Because all that is important. And anyone who's looking forward to planning for retirement, especially married couples, they need to start having those conversations today.
Sure.
You know, what are we going to do? Where are we going to go? Because we need to know that up front so we can bring that cost and those expenses into our planning to make sure that you have the freedom to take those vacations or do what you want, you know.
Yeah.
It's all about financial freedom and enjoying those last years, and that's exactly what a lot of people are doing today, Cynthia, like you said.
Yeah.
They're grabbing an RV and touring America, or they're flying to see kids in every different state, you know, multiple times a year, or they're traveling to other countries. There's a lot going on, a lot of people want to do. And that's the funnest part of our job, is to sit down that initial conversation, find out what are those dreams and goals, not only find out what they are, but to help them achieve them.
Yes.
And then be at their side when they achieve them. And when they come back in telling us about the trips to Disney World with the grandkids and, you know, RVing to the Grand Canyon and all these wonderful things, it just makes our job feel so valuable.
Sure.
And like we've really done something good for people.
Well, and it makes your client appreciation events feel even more special, because I know that they're pulling you aside and saying, Paul, guess what? We finally did this. Here's the pictures from this, and thank you for helping us get there. And that has to be really rewarding for you.
It is. And, you know, it's also a fantastic tool for business. You know, we have all of our events throughout the year. And at every event, every time we're having a large client appreciation event, we have a few new prospective incoming clients. Well, of course, you know, they don't know us, they don't know, you know, us any better than Adam out there or the next guy down the street. So everybody's a little weary coming into retirement planning and talking to a financial person. They've heard bad stories and things of this nature. So it's fantastic for them when they come in and we're having an event of that nature and they're, you know, just beginning to work with us. Come hang out with 300 of our happy clients.
Yeah.
Let them tell you how much peace and serenity we bring them and confidence in retirement, and how much they love working with us. That it just really gives people that confidence they need to say, oh, good, I'm heading in the right direction. I'm working with the right team. These people are going to take care of me going forward.
I cannot think of a better time to open up the phone lines than right now, Paul. Can you tell the viewing audience what they can expect to receive by being one of your first 15 callers? We
have a process. The first meeting is going to be discovery. But by the time we get through this process, you will have a full-blown retirement plan mapped out, your income planning mapped out, your tax planning mapped out, and your investment portfolio set with the right amount of risk and the right amount of performance for your needs. We'll also discover what it's costing you to work with your current financial advisor or a company. We'll bring to the surface all those fees and commissions inside of your portfolio. Basically let you figure out how much bang for your buck are you getting, and is it worthwhile? Are you getting a good value there? So for the next 15 callers who call 228-388-2031, we're going to give this full-blown review of your current situation at zero cost, zero obligation to you today. So pick up the phone and call us today. Have a warm conversation with one of our All-Star advisors.
Paul, thank you so much. To the viewing audience at home, that number to call once again is 228-388-2031. We realize the phone lines have been busy in the past. We've added an additional phone line this week for your convenience. Again, the number to call is 228-388-2031. We'll be back in just a moment with more questions and answers for Paul about planning your perfect stress-free retirement. Please stay tuned.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
And welcome back to Retire Right TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Paul Roberts. He's president and CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. Paul, a great show, and I love listening to all of the advice that you give the viewing audience. I want to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about Social Security in this segment, because I know that's going to play a huge part into a lot of retirees' income stream, if you will, when they get to those years. A lot of buzzwords about it right now. Do you think it's going to go away? What are your thoughts?
I don't necessarily think that Social Security is going to go away.
Okay.
But it is very paramount that people sit down with someone who has a lot of experience in planning Social Security to make sure they're making the proper decision for themselves, because we see so much money left on the table, or people paying undue penalties or taxation that they shouldn't have been paying, just sacrificing dollars. And it is so worth someone's time to sit down with someone who helps people plan Social Security all day, every day, for an hour of their time to make sure they're making the right decisions. But yes, we have a lot of concerns going forward, and anyone out there who doesn't have a concern with Social Security has probably just got their head in the sand, right? Because everyone in America is aware we have a lot of problems with the sustainability of Social Security going forward. One of my main problems with it right now is Social Security, according to their website and their data, they were telling us that by 2033, they were only going to have 75 cents for every dollar worth of benefits that they need to pay out. Well, that was before the 2015 government shutdown, and they had the Bipartisan Budget Act in the November of 15. The reason they had that was because the Social Security Disability Fund was broke. It was out of money. So what they did was they reached into our Social Security Retirement Trust Fund. They took $150 billion out, and they handed Social Security Disability Fund. Well, my problem with that is that we knew the Social Security Trust Fund for retirees was going to be underfunded by 2033. Well, now it's 150 billion short. So that day just got closer, right? Maybe 2033 is 2028 or 2029 now. Okay, so we know within the next decade they only have 75 cents worth of benefits for every dollar. Problem with the Social Security disability funding is that money only lasts in the disability fund till 2022. So in the next 2 years they're going to have to turn around and rob Peter to pay Paul again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excuse my language, not this Paul, right?
Yeah. I was going to say, wait a minute.
But they're going to have to reach into disability and take more money, to our retirement funds to take more money out to fund disability again. And they're not fixing the situation. So how many times are we going to repeat that over and over, where every 5 to 6 years they run out of money and we have to take more? Right? So we're really looking at Social Security is severely underfunded going forward. We know there's going to come a time where they only have 75 cents worth of every dollar worth of benefits that they owe. Now, a lot of people ask me, does that mean I'm only going to receive 25% of my benefit one day? I don't think that's the case. We believe that everyone who is in the system, who has been grandfathered in, will still receive their benefit. Okay? It's just that the U.S. will not be generating enough tax revenue to cover the unfunded liabilities of Social Security. So in other words, every year we'll bring in so much tax revenue, so much will go out, and we'll have a shortfall. So it will basically just keep adding to our deficit and our national debt every year as we go forward. But sooner or later, something has to give.
Oh, sure.
Right, and so we have to,
Sure.
and I think it's very important, our viewers out there today, you know, your retirees, you don't hear enough conversation about it by our political leaders.
Yeah.
It's time to start forcing these matters on them.
Yeah.
Tell them, hey, we got to take this serious. We have to solve these problems. We have to figure out what we need to do to fix the system
Yeah.
before it's too late.
Absolutely.
But people should definitely be putting in backup plans right now. You know, you hear us
Yeah.
always talking about the income planning and having backup plans for inflation and backup plans for what if Social Security reduces your income in the future. When is a good time to start putting those plans in place? Should we wait or should we do it now?
Absolutely, Paul. I should ask you as well, because of all the scare about that, is it going to go away? Are people tending to take their benefits early, and do you recommend doing that? What is your thought on that?
You know, a lot of people are coming in today with the mentality, I want this money as soon as I can.
Yeah.
And I can't disagree with them. Okay? We used to do a lot more planning where we would recommend people, if it worked for their individual situation, we would defer a payment, or at least for a married couple, defer one spouse's payment till later.
Okay.
So we could create a bigger benefit in the household or a better survival income for them later in life when one spouse passes. However, I'm just not at that state of mind anymore. I am not influencing people to defer or hold off later, because I kind of feel just like they do today. It's my money and I want it now. Give me
Yeah,
every
just in
dollar I can
case,
get right
yeah.
now. And because if we told somebody, or we put the plan together and we said, hey, we need to defer another 5 years, and there are changes made and haircuts are made,
Yeah.
and then they waited 5 years and their benefit's no greater, then we haven't really advised someone properly, you know. And the reason that's a concern to me is because, as I stated earlier, we know that the Social Security Disability Fund runs out of money by 2022. So we know in the next 2 years there are going to be other significant changes to the Social Security system. So last thing I want to do is tell somebody, hold off and wait,
Yeah, yeah.
and then changes take place and they get, you know, a haircut, or they get short-ended on their benefit.
Absolutely.
So it's really a tough decision making these Social Security decisions today. You got a lot to play. You've got to look at the financial aspect. You've got to look at the mathematics. You've got to look at your individual income planning. But you also have to take into consideration our political environment, where are we going, and how sustainable is Social Security going forward. You know? It's a tough call for all retirees today.
Sure. Do you get a redo?
You
Right?
get one shot at a redo, right?
One shot,
So
that's it.
when you finally file for Social Security, you have up to 12 months to stop, reverse, or redo that decision.
Okay.
Okay. Once you reach that 13th month, whatever plans you've made, whatever decision you've made is in stone. That's it. You're stuck with whatever you have.
So you better get it right the
Yeah.
first time.
Any of our viewers out there today, if you've just come to making these Social Security decisions, if you've made it in the last 12 months, it'd be a great idea to come sit down with one of our all-star advisors and review your situation, make sure you have made the best decision for yourself,
Yeah.
while you still have time to reverse or change it before you get, you know, grandfathered into where you are currently. So we're helping people change a lot of strategies. We're also putting together strategy A and strategy B. All of our new clients coming in playing Social Security, we say we're going to go route A, but we've got route B planned, and we've got this written plan in the file. So if we start seeing congressional changes
Yeah.
or law changes to Social Security, we've got plan B. We can run down to the Social Security office really quick and change to course B.
Sure.
You know? So it's very good, and if anyone out there listening today, if your advisor's not talking to you about Social Security, I think you should really have plan A laid out and plan B, alternate route.
Paul, this is the perfect time for us to open up the phone lines, because people I think are going to definitely want to have this information from you firsthand. So what can you tell the viewers about what they can receive by calling in?
Well, anyone out there faced with making these Social Security decisions, my all-star advisors sit down and help people plan and prepare for Social Security all day, every day. You can come into the office, no obligation, no cost. We'll sit down, help you figure out what are the right decisions for you to make with Social Security, which will roll into building out a complete and written income plan, knowing how to sustain the income the rest of your life. Then we'll follow that up by doing a current review, a second opinion, portfolio analysis of what you're currently doing, bring to the surface all the fees, commissions, and cost of your current portfolio, the risk expectations, and whether it is aligned with what your risk expectations are. Now, this is a process. It's going to take several meetings, but by the time we get to the end, you'll have a full-blown, comprehensive financial plan and retirement plan that can see you to and through retirement. So give us a call today at 228-388-2031. Sit down with one of our All-Star advisors and have a warm conversation.
Thank you, Paul. To the viewers at home, that number to call once again is 228-388-2031. We know you have a lot of questions about planning your perfect stress-free retirement. Paul has the answers for you. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break with more information from Paul. Stay tuned.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
And welcome back to Retire Right TV. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Paul Roberts. He's president and CEO of Roberts Wealth Management. Paul, I love this part of the show because remember we've talked about obviously your radio show. You get a lot of questions that come in. Well, since you asked for more questions, the viewers actually have called in with some great questions today. So do you mind if I just throw some at you?
Go for it.
All right, they're kind of mixed, which I think this is really nice. We have a diversified group of questions here. It says, Paul, I am 10 years away from retirement. I do not have a retirement plan in place. What steps should I be taking right now?
Wonderful. We love people who ask that type of question. And here's the reason we love people who ask that type of question, Cynthia, because on a weekly basis in our office, people show up and say, I need help planning out retirement. Great, when are you going to retire? Next month. Well, we have a lot of work to do, right?
Yeah.
But we're also very limited on what we can do. I mean, we can build a retirement plan for them, but anyone who addresses retirement planning and income planning 5 to 10 years prior, wow, the work that we can do for them is amazing.
Yeah.
And it's mostly because they have time to be very strategic tax-wise.
Okay.
They have time to be very strategic about building up their income planning and where their sources of income are going to come from. But anyone out there, if you've got 10 years before retirement, now is the time to come in and sit down.
Sure.
Don't wait until you get closer. We can start putting plans in place today. We can start showing you other ways to save money for the next 10 years besides just your 401k, besides pre-tax money. You know, if we start building up some tax-free streams of income and some tax-free buckets of money, that will just enhance the situation and make you so much more efficient when you actually get to retirement. So anyone who's out there 10 years prior, we'd love to sit down, have a conversation with you, sit down, talk to one of our All-Star advisors. We'll figure out what is right for you, start putting some plans in place. But then also you have a track to run on, and they know where they can expect to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years, right?
Okay.
Which just gives so much peace of mind and so much confidence. They walk back in work, you know, and they know where they're going. It's not just, I'm going to keep grinding and going to work and shoving money in this 401k hoping one day I can make it. They go back with a plan. Oh, if I save this much and I have this, at this time, I'm ready to go. You know, I mean, how much value is there in knowing that? You know, how much more comfortable would your career be walking in every day knowing where you're heading?
Sure, absolutely. And that's peace of mind that you can definitely provide just by having people come in and talk with you, which is so important. Yeah. So the next question, Paul, It says, Paul, I have a legacy that I would like to leave to my children. I have not set up a will or a trust. Can you explain the difference and what does that process look like?
Well, yes. A will and a trust. Let's just touch on that part, right?
Okay.
There's kind of a few moving parts in there.
Okay.
One of the biggest misinformation pieces that I find out there is that people think that a will takes care of everything for them.
Okay.
They think that that will is going to take care of their beneficiaries and their inheritance. The will is nothing but simply your last wishes at death. Okay, it is still probatable. It still goes through the court of probate. Your family's still going to be drugged through all of that. It's a very costly, very stressful time. So if you want in any way, shape possible to avoid probate for your family, that's a great thing. That's where the trust comes into estate planning. Okay? A revocable trust can completely skip and avoid that probate. And it's very nice. When our clients have full, adequate estate planning and one of them passes away, the children come in to see us. We call the estate planning attorney. They send over some information. We sign about 3 documents and everything's over with. It was so stress-free, so nice on the family, and I can't tell you the value that that brings to a family. So everyone should really look into estate planning, adequate estate planning before they get there.
Definitely, and that's something that you can also help with if
that
they
is.
come into the office and sit with you. And this is interesting. So it says, Paul, I need to start taking income from my retirement account. I don't know the best way to do that. Can you shed some light on this for me? I'm very confused by the different ways to do this.
There are a multitude of ways to take income, but that's why it all starts with sitting down with an advisor and designing a real written retirement income plan. It's it's too wide open of a question for me to answer here, but we'd love for you to come into the office, sit down with our all-star advisors. The whole conversation is going to start with income planning. You're going to figure out how do we create that income and sustain that income for the rest of their life to and through retirement and make sure that they never run out of money. Now they'll also get the full-blown comprehensive financial review and full-blown comprehensive financial plan by the time we complete this process. They'll feel really good about what they're doing and where they're going. How they take advantage of getting that is give us a call today at 228-388-2031, and we'd love to sit down and have a cup of coffee and a conversation.
And don't forget the warm cookie.
Definitely don't forget Miss Tiff's cookies. Gulf Coast
thank
famous.
you, Paul.
Everybody expects them.
Thank you again for watching. The number to call is 228-388-2031. Be safe, be healthy, be blessed, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you so much.